Good afternoon. The top civil servant sacked from the Foreign Office over his role in Lord Mandelson's appointment as UK ambassador to Washington has told MPs that Downing Street had a, quote, dismissive approach to the process of vetting Mandelson. So Olly Robbins faced 2.5 hours of questions by the Foreign Affairs Select Committee after the Prime Minister accused him of, quote, deliberately keeping him in the dark after red flags were raised in the security checks. The opposition leader, Keir Starmer, has called the evidence devastating for the Prime Minister. So Olly began his testimony with a statement to the committee.
When I walked into post as Permanent Under-Secretary on the 20th of January last year, I wasn't walking into a vacuum. I arrived to a situation in which a due diligence report had been undertaken into Mandelson by the Cabinet Office, assessing the reputational risks and his fitness for office. The Prime Minister had then presumably taken advice on his fitness for office. The name had been submitted to the King as Minister's recommendation. The Prime Minister had made an announcement that Mandelson was his nominee without caveats. The British government had sought agrément, the formal diplomatic process for a host government accepting a nominee from the US government, and that had been obtained before I arrived in post. He'd been given access to the building, he'd been given access to low classification IT, and from time to time, for case-specific issues, he was being given access to higher classification briefing. So I'm afraid I walked into a situation in which there was already a very, very strong expectation, and you will have seen the papers released already under the humble address, that coming from Number 10, that he needed to be in post and in America as quickly as humanly possible. The very first formal communication of this to my predecessor from Number 10 Private Office being that they wanted all this done at pace and Mandelson in post before inauguration. The handover briefing I was getting as I arrived at post was what I felt was a generally dismissive attitude to his vetting clearance. The focus was on getting Mandelson out to Washington quickly. Despite this atmosphere, an atmosphere of pressure, the department completed developed vetting to the normal high standard. Because the vetting process is not there to determine fitness for office or reputational risk, it's there to protect national security.
Well, the leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer, posted her response on X, saying the following: the evidence from Olly Robbins is devastating to Keir Starmer. It is clear that Number 10 not only made the appointment before vetting was completed, but that Mandelson was already acting as the ambassador before the vetting, even seeing highly classified documents. With this and the constant pressure Number 10 applied to the appointment and their dismissive attitude to vetting Mandelson, it's now completely clear that full due process was not followed. Keir Starmer has misled the House, where Sir Keir in the last few moments has attended a function at the British Museum. He's been questioned. Let's have a listen.
Prime Minister, do you wish to ask more questions about Mandelson, Prime Minister? Is this going to bring down your government, sir?
Is this going to bring down your government, sir? A question that has been asked of the Prime Minister repeatedly over the course of months. Well, Sir Olly Robbins was asked about a report yesterday by our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates, that the PM's then Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, pressured the former Foreign Office boss, Sir Philip Barton, to approve Mandelson's appointment.
Going back to the point where Sir Philip was still Permanent Under-Secretary, it is reported by, I think it's Sam Coates, that Morgan McSweeney, the Chief of Staff, rang Sir Philip and said, in terms stronger than those that I can use before the watershed.
I think you should.
Well, I'll just say that it was just to prove it with terms stronger than that. Does that accord with your impression?
Just prove it.
Does it accord with your impression when you took over from Sir Philip?
I think I recall Philip saying to me, certainly Philip's handover to me has contributed to my strong sense that there was an atmosphere of pressure and a certain dismissiveness about this DV process, which I hope I've tried already to be honest with the committee about. I don't remember Philip using those words. Also, I'm proud to say Philip's probably not the sort of person who'd report them verbatim.